Mexico is a popular travel spot for Californians and the #1 trading partner for the United States. So a shutdown of the border would have a huge economic impact.
Is roughly $650 billion between the two countries.
Sanjay Varshney is a business professor at Sacramento State, and he says 70% of the trade between the U.S. and Mexico takes place through trucks that won't be carrying fruits and vegetables or delivering new cars to California customers if the border is sealed.
Most companies have some kind of operation going on in Mexico because that's where the major manufacturing takes place and the assembly takes place, and many of those cars then come over to countries like the United States.
Shutting down the border would have a negative impact on the economy, Donald Trump concedes, but the president says it's important to move forward.
But to me, trading is very important, the borders are very important, but security is what is most important to me. I have to have security.
But border security may cause insecurity for seasonal farm workers who are picking California's fruits and vegetables and run the risk of getting stuck in Mexico, according to Steve Smith of the California Labor Federation.
You're talking about massive job loss, you're talking about rising unemployment, talking about people losing their homes, people not being able to afford to put food on the table. These are the things that are at stake.
The president likely has the authority to temporarily shut down the border for a national emergency, but not beyond that, according to Professor Leslie Jacobs at the McGeorge School of Law.
But if he were to shut it down permanently, then we would get into a conflict with what Congress has said, very detailed, about who's allowed to come in and who isn't.
Jacobs says President Johnson briefly shut down the border after President Kennedy was assassinated, and both Presidents Nixon and Reagan partially closed the border temporarily following disputes with Mexico over drug enforcement.